Welcome to the Ellis Parker Show. I am DV LeBron. Today I have a very special guest. I have Mr. Cody McKinney. I'm sorry, that was the phone. Mr. Cody McKinney on. And I'm sorry, it sounds like I'm having some sound difficulties.
No, you're
Um, okay, so Mr. McKinney, you're running for precinct 4, Justice of the Peace, and I wanted you to go ahead and tell the people of Ellis County about yourself. A little bit of background, if you can.
Hey, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you, DV, for having me on. First of all, my name is Cody McKinney. I've been a lifetime resident of Ellis County, Midlothian in particular. I was born in Waxahachie, lived in Midlothian, raised my family in Midlothian, worked for the city of Midlothian as a police officer for 17 years. I've got over 20 plus years in law enforcement. Um, I was really interested in this position for JP back in probably about 3 years ago. I have a pretty diverse background in law enforcement, from patrol to SWAT to canine to investigations, is where I really wanted to be. I was always interested in that side. So I spent the last 15, 16 years in investigations. Some of those were specialized to include task force with, IRS working money laundering cases against drug cartels and organizations. And then spent some time with DEA doing the same thing. But in that time frame, you really get to spend a lot of time developing cases, building cases, investigating them, and you work closely with the courts, with attorneys, with the judges, and you spend a lot of time testifying and doing case prep and court preparation. And the longer I spent in that, I kind of gravitated towards wanting to know more about the law side, the court side. And I think
Right.
that's why I started gravitating towards the JP position.
Well, that sounds like a good career as far as law enforcement. That was a You spent quite a bit doing that. Um, I want to thank you for that, because whenever you're serving the community in that capacity, especially with all the things going on now, I mean, yesterday I think it was, or day before, nine officers were shot in a
That's correct.
standoff in Arizona. It's the most ever at one time ever in Arizona.
Yes, that,
So that's the world we live in.
no,
But
absolutely. And my heart goes out to those people. And I've kind of been through a similar situation involving a standoff. And I know how taxing that can be on a family and on a community.
yeah, it really can be quite difficult. Now, why did you want to run for JP?
Again, just my background with criminal investigations, working so closely with the courts, I tended, you just, you get to learn a lot more about the court proceedings. And I just it felt natural for me to be in that area. And I figured I could still serve my community and continue to learn more about the court proceedings. And I do have experience in, criminal law and some civil. Um, and just, again, another opportunity, a different way to serve the community is what I was looking for.
Well, that's always admirable. I tell every candidate that comes on, thank you, because wanting to serve out here and um, put yourself in the political realm, in the meat grinder, as I call it. That's a tough thing, and wanting to help your community is an admirable thing. So thank
Yes,
you.
sir. No, thank you.
Um,
We had a chance to talk, and you told me you were, and you work in the prison system, and I think that's great. That's one of those thankless positions, because I was a jailer, and it takes a special person to do that job.
I appreciate it. Now, I'm sorry, I had a little bit of a. It's Saturday, so
Yeah.
this is a rare show. So now you told me why you want to run it. What exactly would you do different, or to what would you bring to that office? But before you get into that, can you please tell me real quickly about, some people may not know what a JP
Sure.
is.
Sure.
I've said it before. I've never seen that in any of the states I've ever been to. So JP could be completely foreign, and we got a lot of new people here. So can
Sure.
you explain that?
So basically, JP, when you hear JP, a lot of people say Judge Wapner. Of course, that kind of shows your age, but more people know it by like Judge Judy. That's kind of what she does. But for people who don't know, so your JP is basically like the lowest court with a judge who is made up of it's called the People's Court. So the judge is basically voted on by the people, and it's the lowest court. And they usually handle Class C offenses, whether it be traffic violations, some penal code violations, health and safety code violations. All those that would be equivalent to like a Class C misdemeanor or a ticket, stuff that's punishable by fines. They hear also civil disputes, civil cases up to $20,000.
Mm-hmm.
They do landlord and tenant disputes for like evictions. They handle truancy cases, issue search and arrest warrants. They do so when someone gets arrested, they will go to the jail and they will do arraignments and bond settings for those. They are on call as well. So they have a precinct that they're responsible for during the normal business hours, and they have all those duties and responsibilities that they're required to do. And then once a week, I think they're on call for once a month, they're on call for a full week, and that's for the whole county. So you may get called out at 2 a.m. to work an inquest from a fatality accident, and you have to go out there and, do the inquest. So, and then you're on call also. So you're going to the jail during your on-call time and doing those arraignments on the weekends. So
Wow.
it's a lot of sacrifice.
So some of your duties is evicting people.
Yes,
That's unfortunately that's a very tough thing to do.
absolutely.
Um, in order to respect the dignity while doing your job of the people of Ellis County, um, how will you go about doing that when you evict somebody?
That's going to be one of those really tough cases you're gonna have to preside over. You're gonna have to be fair, absolutely. And I even in my career, I've tend to always been give people more gratitude to kind of explain their case. Not everybody has to go to jail. Not everybody needs a ticket, and it's not everything is black and white. We don't
Right.
we don't live in a society like that. There's very few things in the law that say we shall. The things we have to do, and then everything else it gives us the ability and leeway to make decisions and talk to people, help them, try to give them the most help they can. But you also got to remember that it's not just the person being evicted; it's also the person who has stake in this property who hasn't been, that's their living as well. So it's a tough decision. I mean, it's going to be a case by case, but I think you have to be fair, open, and give people a chance to fix issues.
With COVID, you saw a lot in COVID. There was a lot of people who couldn't pay their rent for this reason or that reason, or didn't pay, chose not to pay because of a moratorium. We're past that, but there's still ramifications of that,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I could only imagine trying to work through that. So it's good for the people to hear how you would approach it.
Sure, sure.
Um, do you have an idea on how you can make it better, the office?
Well, I know coming into this and again, I assume because I don't know the actual numbers, but since COVID and the COVID protocols and the conditions that we live in now, I can only assume that there's a large backlog of cases, civil and criminal, that'll need to be, you know, decided on. So I think the first game plan would be do a full assessment, like almost like uh, an inventory, so to speak, of the office to kind of see where we're at, an audit, and then sit down with the staff and go, where are we at? Where do we need to be? How do we achieve those goals? Which cases are nearing or at statute of limitations that we won't be able to proceed with,
Hmm.
uh, and determine if we have the abilities and the training and the equipment to do the job. I mean, you got to see what we're working with first.
Right.
And I think that'll be one of the largest issues is looking at any potential backlog, and I can only assume there will be because of COVID.
Yeah. I mean, COVID definitely affected it, affected a lot of things. Now, kind of a different kind of subject, but it's something that affected the entire country and Ellis County wasn't removed from it. Um, there's some in the community that may, or in our community that may feel marginalized. Um, what kind of treatment would those people get from Cody McKinney if you're elected?
It doesn't matter to me your stature, your position, your whatever. Everybody gets treated the same. I treat everybody with respect. Even people who don't treat me with respect, I still return respect to them. I'm not going to treat anybody unfairly or indifferently than anybody else. I hug my enemy, and I'll shake his hand, and I'm that way. That's who I am. It's the way I've always been.
That's excellent. Now, as far as being a good steward of the people's taxes, um, how will you apply that to the justice of the peace position?
Absolutely. So it almost seems bare bones when you look at it on paper. Again, I'm not in the office, so I can't see how it actually functions. But with the minimal staff they have, and the pay where it is, and the budget where it is, I mean, I think because of my background, I've written grants that have gotten approved. I've done some of that. I've implemented programs that didn't really cost the taxpayers any money when I was working on the police side. So I think there's going to be. I just have a different perspective and maybe some different background in that. So I think there may be some grant possibilities to help make the office more efficient and to help with the staff and the training and certifications that we need to make the office more efficient to serve the public.
Well, so there you have it, folks. Cody will be a good steward to your money, as he was saying, Mr. McKinney. And that's a good thing because taxes are killing people. And so, not wasting money is a good thing.
Absolutely.
So this is the part of the show where you talk directly to the voters of Ellis County. You get to tell them, why they should vote for you and what you would do. I'm gonna give you the mic and be quiet, and you can go.
Hey, thank you, sir.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
sir.
My name is Cody McKinney. I live, I work, I was born, I was raised here in Ellis County, Midlothian specifically. I have over 20 years of law enforcement experience. Most of that has been in investigative and supervisory and administrative roles. I have experience in writing policies, uh, writing grants, arrest warrants, search warrants. Um, I just think I can bring a lot to the office, and I want to continue to build on what is already there of this foundation of the Justice of the Peace in Precinct 4. Um, I'm honest and I'm fair, and I'm just humbly asking for your vote and an opportunity to show you what I can do in that position. Thank you for your time.
Well, that is excellent. I appreciate you coming on. It's a lot of times most people that you go out there and try to get for the county to hear these people that want your vote. Most of them are very open to getting to you, but may be busy. So there's a lot of things that go into this. So I really appreciate you coming in and doing this. And I believe that the people of Ellis County are better informed when they watch these shows and see the candidate talk in their own voice. That you're listening to them, and you get to
Absolutely.
make a determination about who's going to be your official, your local official, by their words.
And thank you for this. I mean, I got turned on to your show probably about 2 months ago, and I watch it all the time when it comes on now. It's very informative, and I thank you.
Thank you. That means a lot. Well, and I did the interview with Mr. Ponder.
Yes, sir.
Now you have Mr. McKinney, and I am going to have Miss Winter on Monday, I believe,
Good.
at 6.
Good.
So I hope you guys will watch that and then make a decision based on what you've seen. So you take care and have a good rest of your Saturday.
Hey, will do. Thank you, sir.
Later.